In the stillness before dawn, the forest breathes. Mist coils between ancient trees, their roots gripping the bones of forgotten cities. Beneath the endless green, something stirs. A heartbeat, slow and distant, echoing through the soil. It is not the pulse of nature, but of memory. A memory of a world that once lived, built, and dreamed beneath these trees. A vanished empire that time itself chose to hide. They built, they thrived, and then they disappeared. This is the story of what lies beneath the forest, the secrets of a lost civilization. When we think of the great empires of history, we imagine deserts and rivers, marble and sand, Egypt, Babylon, Rome. But few imagine the forest. Yet in the shadow of towering trees, among roots as thick as pillars, entire worlds once existed. The jungle, vast and silent, is not only the kingdom of nature, it is the vault of forgotten human history. For centuries, explorers wandered beneath its canopy, believing it untamed and empty. They could not have been more mistaken. Beneath the vines and moss, beneath centuries of soil, lies the imprint of a forgotten people. Builders, farmers, engineers, a civilization whose story has almost been erased. Early travelers told tales of strange mounds rising from the forest floor, stones arranged with purpose, fragments of pottery embedded in roots. Some said it was coincidence, others whispered of a city swallowed by time. The forest seemed to devour everything, but the truth is different. The forest did not destroy, it protected. It covered these places like a shroud, preserving them in silence. Then came light. Not sunlight, but laser light. LiDAR. A technology capable of piercing through the thickest canopy and mapping what the human eye cannot see. When the first scans were taken, what appeared beneath stunned scientists. Straight lines where none should exist. Geometric earthworks, grids of roads, canals, and platforms stretching for miles. It was not wilderness, it was architecture. The forest had been a city. Across the Amazon basin, in the highlands of Peru, and deep within Central America, these hidden blueprints emerged. What they revealed challenged everything we thought we knew. The rainforest had not been empty. It had been alive with people, structured, ordered, and advanced. These were not wandering tribes. They were citizens of an organized world, a world that thrived where we once believed survival itself was impossible. Imagine walking there long ago. Sunlight filtering through a thinner canopy, glinting off stone walls and causeways. Voices echoing from plazas, the scent of burning wood from hearths that no longer exist. Children laughing where now only the wind whispers. Every path beneath your feet, now buried, was once a road of purpose. In the northern cloud forests of Peru, archaeologists discovered the remains of the Chachapoya, the cloud people. Their stone citadels cling to cliffsides veiled in mist. Massive walls rise from the jungle floor, each block fitted with precision. Entire cities built where the clouds touch the earth. For centuries they were forgotten, their names surviving only in legend. But now technology reveals what the mist concealed. More than 100 structures, terraces, and fortifications stretching across mountainsides that once echoed with life. The same discoveries are unfolding across the Amazon. Massive geometric enclosures, circular and rectangular, connected by ancient roadways. Settlement after settlement, each revealing human intention on a monumental scale. The rainforest, once dismissed as a green void, now tells another story. Of design, of planning, of endurance. These people knew the forest intimately. They cultivated it not by destroying it, but by transforming it. They shaped the soil into living systems, what scientists now call terra preta, the dark, fertile earth created through charcoal, bone, and organic matter. Modern agriculture still struggles to reproduce it. It remains fertile centuries later, a silent signature of a lost genius. Their knowledge of the land was profound. They carved canals to guide the floods, terraces to hold the slopes, gardens beneath the trees to capture shade and moisture. This was not chaos, it was harmony, a delicate balance between human hands and nature's will. And then something changed. The forest, which had once been partner and protector, began to reclaim everything. Perhaps it began slowly, a few seasons of poor harvests, a shifting river, a failing sky, drought, flood, disease, conflict. No one knows for certain, but the balance broke. People left their homes, fields grew silent. Stone by stone, the forest took them back. Roots split the walls, vines swallowed stairways, the breath of the jungle smothered the sound of human life. What remained was silence, centuries of silence so deep that even memory dissolved into myth. Local legends spoke of shining cities that sank into the green. Stories of gods turned to stone, of the forest itself punishing pride. But myths are only the shadows of truths. The evidence buried beneath the leaves tells us that these people were real. Their architecture still holds shape beneath the moss. Their roads, invisible from the ground, still stretch like veins beneath the canopy. For generations, no one believed. Then LiDAR confirmed what myth had preserved, that beneath the trees lie entire urban networks, vast and deliberate. Some were as complex as medieval European towns, with ceremonial centers, irrigation systems, and fields capable of feeding tens of thousands. Now, the forest is no longer an obstacle to history. It is history. Every tree stands on layers of time. Every root grips the bones of streets, walls, temples, and dreams. And yet, even with all our technology, the faces of these people remain unseen. We know their presence, but not their names. Their hands carved stone, but their language is gone. Their world was swallowed by the very ecosystem they nurtured. Perhaps that is the greatest irony of all. A civilization so deeply in tune with the forest, undone not by conquest, but by the quiet persistence of nature itself. Stand in that forest today, and you might feel it. The air is heavy, alive, almost aware. Every sound echoes as if carrying an ancient breath. The earth beneath your feet is not just soil, it is history compressed into silence. Somewhere below, a wall still stands, its stones locked in a 1,000-year embrace, with roots that now hold it upright. Civilizations rise, they fall, but some do not vanish completely. Some become part of the land that consumes them, and in doing so, they achieve a kind of immortality. The forest remembers everything. What we call wilderness is, in truth, the aftermath of humanity. Every leaf, every shadow conceals a story. The vanished empire beneath the forest is not a relic of fantasy. It is the mirror of what we are capable of and of what time can erase. As the light fades and the trees close in, imagine the people who once walked here, their laughter mingling with the sound of rain on leaves, their monuments rising toward the sun, their faith anchored in stone now hidden from the world. They are gone, yet not gone. Their story lives in the hum of the forest, in the patterns only the sky can see, in the whispers of soil disturbed by wind and rain. This is the threshold between memory and oblivion, the place where the living world hides the bones of its own past. And as the forest exhales beneath the setting sun, we begin to see the truth. Civilization does not always end in fire and ruin. Sometimes it simply fades into green. The forest is not silent. It speaks in whispers, in the murmur of water over stone, in the sigh of wind through branches older than history. When you listen long enough, you begin to hear it, not just the sound of life, but the echo of something that once lived with the forest rather than within it. The vanished empire did not build to conquer nature, it built to belong to it. Step by step, stone by stone, the outlines of that lost world begin to appear. Beneath centuries of leaves, archaeologists are finding plazas and terraces, stairways cut into cliffsides, and broad avenues once lined with walls. The forest floor hides a geometry too perfect to be natural. These were planned spaces, designed, measured, and aligned with the sun and stars. What seems at first like wilderness reveals itself as architecture softened by time. Imagine how it must have looked. Great ceremonial platforms rising from the mist, their walls bright with paint and carvings, water running in channels between them, guided through stone conduits built to tame the seasonal floods. Gardens stretched in every direction, rows of fruit trees, herbs, and medicinal plants carefully arranged to mimic the pattern of the forest itself. The air filled with smoke from hearth fires and the distant rhythm of drums. They built with purpose. They built with belief. Each wall and terrace had meaning, each alignment a connection between earth and sky. Their understanding of the land was not just practical, it was spiritual. The forest was sacred ground, a living cathedral in which every leaf, every root, every stream carried the breath of creation. Archaeologists now recognize how sophisticated these societies truly were. In regions once dismissed as inhospitable, they engineered vast systems of irrigation and drainage. They raised their fields to protect them from flooding and shaped their rivers to feed them. In the Amazon, canals and causeways have been mapped that extend for miles, linking settlement to settlement like arteries through a living organism. The people of this vanished empire built in patterns that mirrored the constellations. They read the stars through the breaks in the canopy, using them to mark seasons and ceremonies. Their calendar was the forest itself, the blooming of flowers, the song of birds, the turning of rains. To them, the sky and earth were not separate realms, but one continuous body. The evidence of their skill lies hidden in the soil. Beneath the roots, scientists have uncovered layers of engineered earth, black, rich, and enduring. The mysterious terra preta, a soil unlike any other on Earth, born of charcoal and organic waste, capable of sustaining crops for centuries. No modern fertilizer has matched its resilience. This was a civilization that understood how to feed generations without exhausting the land. Every discovery deepens the wonder. Beneath the dense canopy, we find plazas large enough to hold thousands, elevated causeways stretching through wetlands, reservoirs carved into bedrock to catch the rains. It was an interconnected system, a network of cities that may have rivaled the great urban centers of the ancient world. And yet, this society left almost no written record. No carved monuments of kings, no libraries, no chronicles of conquest. Their story is told through earth and stone alone. It is a quiet kind of history, written not in words, but in design. In the curve of a canal, the angle of a terrace, the careful symmetry of a plaza long since swallowed by trees. What kind of people were they? The answer lies in fragments, the bones of homes, the patterns of fields, the remains of tools shaped from obsidian and shell. These clues speak of a people both practical and poetic. They lived close to the rhythm of the forest, taking what they needed but giving back in equal measure. They saw themselves not as masters of nature but as part of it, and perhaps that is why they lasted so long. For centuries they endured, their cities growing in harmony with the land around them. But the forest is never still. Seasons shift, rivers change their course, and the balance that sustains life can turn without warning. The end may have come slowly, almost imperceptibly. A generation of poor harvests, a fever carried by the insects they once revered, storms that stripped the fields and turned the rivers wild, or perhaps an outside force, a new people, a new belief, a new disease, swept through, leaving only silence behind. Whatever the cause, one by one the plazas fell quiet. The canals silted over, houses collapsed beneath the weight of vines. The forest, patient and eternal, began to close its hand around the remnants. Within a few lifetimes, the empire that had transformed the land was gone, its voice absorbed into the hum of insects and the rustle of leaves. Even now, as scientists scan the canopy with lasers and drones, they find the same haunting pattern: order hidden beneath chaos, geometry beneath green. Roads, terraces, courtyards, all erased by time, yet still there. It is as if the earth itself remembers what the human mind forgot. In the high valleys of the Andes, the stones of Chachapoya fortresses still cling to cliffs above the clouds. In the heart of the Amazon, circles and squares of raised earth emerge from satellite images, ghostly fingerprints of a vanished people. Everywhere the same story repeats, human brilliance overtaken by nature's patience. The forest is not cruel, it is indifferent. It erases without malice, creating beauty from ruin. Moss becomes mortar, vines become walls, roots thread through the heart of old temples. What was once city becomes landscape again. What was human becomes part of the forest's endless breath. For the archaeologists who step into that green world, every discovery carries both triumph and sorrow. To uncover a lost city is to disturb its peace. To find its roads is to know that the people who walk them are dust. Yet still, they search, because to understand the past is to understand ourselves. Each scan, each excavation reveals something deeper, a truth about the persistence of human ambition. Civilizations rise from the soil, and to the soil they return. But the urge to build, to connect, to leave a mark, that is eternal. The vanished empire beneath the forest may have disappeared, but it has not been defeated. Its essence endures in every pattern of growth, every cultivated tree, every black patch of fertile soil that refuses to die. It has merged with the very forest that consumed it, creating a new kind of immortality, one that breathes, grows, and changes with time. Stand in that jungle today and feel it. The air is thick, humming with unseen life. Shafts of light pierce the canopy like memories breaking through time. Each sound, the call of a bird, the crack of a branch, seems to echo from another age. You are not alone there. Beneath the roots, beneath the layers of moss, the foundations of cities still wait, their stones damp with the breath of centuries. The forest remembers. It carries the trace of every step, every voice, every dream that once passed through it. To look upon it now is to gaze upon both the past and the future. A reminder that nothing is ever truly lost, only transformed. And so, the mystery deepens. Who were these people who built in silence, who lived in harmony, who vanished without a cry? What did they know of the world that we have forgotten? And what might their story teach us about our own fragile place in the balance between creation and decay? The answers lie ahead, in the next journey deeper into the heart of the green, where stone meets root, where history breathes beneath the soil, and where the truth of the vanished empire still waits to be uncovered. The forest sleeps lightly. Even in stillness, it listens. Beneath the roots, beneath the layers of earth and silence, the stones of a forgotten world remain, unmoving, unbroken, patient. What once was a city is now a memory in the soil, a pulse that has not yet faded. But the world beyond the forest has changed, and with it, the means to see what lies beneath. Today, light once again falls upon that hidden empire, not through the leaves but from the eyes of machines that float above the clouds. A single beam of LiDAR pierces the canopy and strikes the earth, returning with stories older than history. Each scan reveals lines, angles, and patterns invisible to the human eye. Roads, canals, terraces, and temples that rewrite the map of our past. Scientists gather around the glowing images, tracing the faint shapes of cities that no one has walked in 1,000 years. The discovery is more than revelation, it is resurrection. A forgotten civilization is speaking again, through the language of technology, through the rhythm of data. The forest that once concealed their world now gives them back to ours. Across continents, similar patterns emerge. In Central America, beneath the jungles of Guatemala, LiDAR has exposed vast Maya cities once swallowed by green. In the high forests of Peru, the Chachapoya fortresses cling to misted cliffs like watchful ghosts. In the Amazon, networks of earthen causeways stretch for miles, connecting villages and ceremonial centers long erased from memory. Each new finding pulls another thread from the shroud that time wove around these people. And yet, with every discovery comes humility. For all our science, we still know so little. We can measure walls and map canals, but we cannot hear their voices. We can uncover their roads, but not their reasons. Who were they? What gods did they honor? What fears haunted them as the forest began to close in? Archaeology offers fragments, bones in ceremonial pits, pottery shards painted with spirals and suns, traces of tools and pigments. But the essence of the vanished empire remains beyond reach. Its name, its stories, its songs, all dissolved into the air long ago. What remains is presence, the quiet insistence that they were here. In these ruins lies a reflection of ourselves. We too build, we plan, we shape the world to our will. And yet, time is a patient sculptor. One day, our own cities may lie beneath forests yet unborn. The empire we call modern might fade just as quietly. The forest does not rush, it only waits. The rediscovery of these lost civilizations does more than satisfy curiosity. It forces us to question the story of humanity itself. We once imagined civilization as a narrow river flowing through deserts and plains, from Mesopotamia to Egypt to Greece and Rome. But beneath the forests of the world runs another river, wider, older, hidden beneath leaves and soil. Its waters are the memory of all who lived close to nature, who built with it instead of against it. These forgotten builders understood something we are only beginning to remember, that progress and survival depend on balance. They crafted their cities from the logic of ecosystems. Their roads followed the paths of water. Their homes were built from materials that breathed with the air. Even their waste returned to nourish the soil. Their genius was not domination, but coexistence. And when the balance broke, whether through drought, disease, or human pride, their world unraveled, slowly, silently. The forest covered their mistakes and turned them into lessons. Now, centuries later, we uncover them again, perhaps just in time to learn what they once knew. The implications ripple far beyond archaeology. The ancient forest civilizations challenge the myth of untouched wilderness. They remind us that human beings have shaped the planet far longer and far more subtly than our history books admit. The canopy we see as natural has grown over the fingerprints of humanity. Nature and civilization have never been enemies, only partners in a dance as old as the world. As scientists map more of the forest, patterns of astonishing precision emerge. Vast networks of connected cities, built along rivers, aligned with the stars. The scale suggests millions once lived here, their lives interwoven with the rhythms of rain and growth. This was not a lost corner of the world. It was once its beating heart. Yet what truly captivates is not their size, but their silence. How could so many vanish so completely that only the forest remembers them? There is something almost sacred in that disappearance. It speaks of impermanence, of how even greatness must one day yield to the quiet persistence of the natural world. Perhaps they understood this. Perhaps they knew that all things built by human hands must one day return to the earth. Their monuments were not cries for immortality, but offerings to the land. To build beneath the forest was to accept that the forest would someday take it back. Still, their legacy endures in ways unseen, in the dark, fertile soil that feeds new generations of trees, in the pattern of roots that follow the lines of buried roads, in the knowledge rediscovered by those who dig and scan and listen. Their world has become part of ours, their wisdom buried not in libraries but in landscapes. As the sun sets over the canopy, shafts of light pierce through the mist and paint the leaves gold. For a brief moment, the forest glows as it must have in the age of that vanished empire. Then the light fades and darkness returns, soft and complete. But the image lingers. a vision of what was, what is, and what may be again. Because every civilization believes itself eternal until the earth reminds it otherwise. The people beneath the forest were no different. They built, they thrived, they believed. And when their time came, they did not disappear into nothing. They dissolved into the world they loved. Today, we stand on the threshold of rediscovery. The machines that scan the canopy, the archaeologists who read the soil, the storytellers who bring these voices back to life, all are part of a new awakening. The past is not dead. It sleeps beneath our feet, waiting for the light to find it. When we uncover the stones of the vanished empire, we are not just revealing history. We are confronting ourselves. We are reminded that the line between civilization and wilderness is thinner than we think. That time erases, but it also preserves. That what is lost can sometimes return, if only we learn how to see it. The forest teaches patience. It tells us that silence can be truth, that decay can be renewal, that endings are only transformations. The empire beneath its roots may be gone, but its spirit remains in the whisper of leaves, in the rhythm of rain, in the quiet pulse of life that never truly stops. Stand at the edge of that forest and look inward. Beneath the green darkness lies the memory of a people who once believed the world itself was alive. Perhaps they were right. Perhaps the forest is still speaking to us, its voice a chorus of centuries, telling us not to forget what it means to belong to the earth. As night falls and the mist thickens, imagine those lost cities still breathing under the soil. Not ruins, but seeds. Seeds of knowledge, seeds of warning, seeds of wonder. The empire beneath the forest may have vanished from sight, but not from the story of humanity. It endures where all great things endure, in the quiet, in the unseen, in the eternal embrace between nature and time. And when you walk beneath the trees, listen closely, you may hear it, the faint echo of footsteps, the rhythm of drums, the heartbeat of a civilization that refuses to be forgotten. The forest remembers everything, and now, so do we. Beneath the vast green canopies of our planet's oldest forests lies a mystery older than written history. Hidden beneath roots and vines are the ruins of a vanished empire, a civilization that mastered engineering, astronomy, and survival long before modern time. For centuries, it slept in silence, buried under moss and myth. Now, through the eyes of science, satellites, and LiDAR, we are uncovering what the forest kept secret. Cities once thought lost are re-emerging. Roads, temples, canals, and terraces built by hands that understood the rhythm of the natural world. This immersive cinematic documentary explores how an ancient people built with the forest, not against it, and how their disappearance still echoes in our age of fragile balance between humanity and nature. Step beyond the trees and descend into a world erased by time, but never truly gone. The forest remembers everything, and now its secrets are finally revealed.